Hi, everyone. It is Anna and
Mickey.
we're here to discuss another song. We released our Twitchy this last Thursday. We've been very excited to release this. I think we talked about Twitchy last week too.
Yeah, we kind of teased this conversation, but I'm excited to actually have the real conversation now about the song.
Yes, me too. So Twitchy is, we were just talking, Mickey and I, we have 2 more songs that we're releasing in the next couple of weeks. We have Shifting Sands and Stronger. So Twitchy now is our 7th song, Mickey? Oh, no, 6th song.
And then, of course, the album release is finally almost here, February 2nd.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Just to be able to listen to all the songs in a nice stream like that is going to be very...
I mean, we've been able to listen to all the songs this year.
No, we haven't. What are you talking about? It's all new to us too. So Twitchy, again, one of those songs that you came up with the title, Mickey.
I did. I mean, so I'm gonna have to get a lot vulnerable to talk about the song.
I'm in for this.
But I'm ready to do that.
Okay.
So background on the song. So we had written and went in the studio for Control. We also, Shifting Sands had been written like 4 or 5 years before that, I think. Maybe not 4 or 5, maybe it was like...
Yeah, not that long, but yeah.
But
35 years ago.
Time is like,
I know.
I don't know. So we did both those songs in October of 2019. And so then there was another, I think, or maybe it was like the end of September, early October. And so we had like really good starting momentum for the project.
Yes.
And we also we thought we were going to play a live show, but that's like, did we already tell that story?
Well, yeah, I think we said that basically, we had this opportunity and we were just a brand new project and we had barely finished a song and but we were ready to do it. We were ready to jump on that boat, but
it was, I think,
a little Titanic-y.
That's the definition of putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, we're gonna go book an opening gig, but even though we don't have any songs and have never rehearsed.
For a really big band. It wasn't just like an opening.
It was
a big band. Okay, anyways, moving
on. So that show fell through. And then a few months went by and like I wrote nothing. I don't even think I even spent any time on my computer trying to write anything. And so I completely lost momentum and I got in my head and I had one. I think probably a lot of creative people go through these ebbs and flows, but like when I go a few months like that and don't spend any time writing, it starts to give me a lot of anxiety. And it also like, I start to question myself. I get like imposter syndrome.
Amen, brother.
I lose belief that I can actually write anymore.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird as artists? And I'm sure anyone who like a creative, or maybe not even a creative, just anyone who is trying to do something that's vulnerable goes through this kind of feeling of, this imposter thing. It's insane.
Yeah, it really is.
Insane. Anyways.
So it was right after New Year's and it was actually January 3rd. And like, I was just like moping around all day. I think it was like the day before I had to go back to work or 2 days before I had to go back to work or something like that. And I had planned on like, I had all this time off from work because of break and I didn't write anything that whole period of time. And so it was like the day before I had to go back to work and I was like, nothing. You completely missed this opportunity to be productive and to write. And I was pretty upset and I got depressed. And I really was questioning things about whether I could actually like step up to the plate and actually write a whole album's worth of material for this project. And
or at least like in a decent amount of time, because I think,
sure. And so it was probably late afternoon, early evening. And I basically had a crisis moment where I was like, either you need to do this now or not do it.
Call it. Yeah.
Call it. And so my solution to that was, I'm like, I am physically forcing myself to go downstairs and sit in front of my computer right now. There's no other choice. I have to do this. But like, I was feeling very edgy at that moment, and angry at myself, which is something I struggle with, is getting angry at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, just start writing, just do it. Like, the most important thing that you can possibly do right now is just
do it.
Start doing it. It doesn't matter what you play or anything. But of course, as things are wont to happen, the whole song just like poured out, like in the next hour. I mean, everything. I mean, the whole song.
The whole song.
The whole song.
Well, part of the song.
Well,
There was an addition.
Yeah. So then there's like the second half of the song that was added on later on.
That came later.
But the first half, the more composed, structured part of the song.
But what a beautiful moment, right? Here you are again, like speaking of sort of the creative lulls and like the times that we experience where, here you say like, I either do this or I'm done with music forever.
Sure.
And then, your soul and your whatever is in here, your id is just like, nope, you're going to keep going, brother. Here it is. You already had it. Why are you even stressing out?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so after like about an hour and a half, I had like this whole sketch of a song done. And I listened back and I think there was definitely some like fist pumping going on.
So what's the thing for you that like, when a song is complete, what do you do? What like, do you have like a ritual for when or a feeling of when it's done?
Yeah, so there's like a tipping point moments where I've gotten far enough along in writing the song that I know in that moment that I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
That moment doesn't mean the song's done. It just means it's gotten far enough along that, and it's gotten to a certain place that I know it's
you believe in it.
I believe it. Yeah, thank you for, I was having articulating it. I believe in it, and I want to.
Right. You're inspired by it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when you're done, do you have something is there a thing? I've told you what my thing is.
So no, I mean, don't you see how I like am constantly, until like it goes into the studio with Rick and I've sent him the tracks, I just keep tinkering with it.
Yeah.
That's another very common thing that creative people do, right? I mean, it's
true.
There's always, if you don't time block yourself and you don't set deadlines and you don't force yourself to like stop, go on forever, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because like even now, like when I listen back to our album, there's like stuff on every song and I'm like, oh, I want to change that, and God.
I understand, but we've got a lot of new stuff coming, so.
But Twitchy though, so to go back to that song, it was really that sounds that I got out of the synthesizer I was using, just that really distorted synthesizer sounds that kind of goes throughout the song, and that was like revelatory to me, because I don't think at least not the first two songs we did for Syzygal, they didn't have that like intensity or maybe that edginess to them.
Yeah, I agree. It's I mean, right off the get-go, it has this really full, edgy,
Yeah.
Panicky kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that, I mean, even the story that you tell about going downstairs to like write it is so apparent in the song, or it was to me, as like when you sent it to me. I think you probably sent it to me like the next day or something.
Yeah, it was probably the next day. Yeah.
And sometimes when Mickey and I write together, it hasn't happened every time, but there's times where Mickey will send me something and then I send him something back like the next day. Like it's crazy. There is this like nice fluidity, but then there's other times where a song sits in my inbox for quite a while before I get to it, or before I feel ready to. But with this song, that exact feeling of feeling vulnerable, edgy, walking down, and then exploding. Yes. Like you didn't even need to tell me that feeling, and that's exactly what the song became about.
That's what the song feels like. I mean, it's,
yeah. Exactly. So it's really amazing that you're able to take those feelings and translate them into something that, even with if you just released it without my lyrics, would have the same impact, I think.
Yeah. So that was, and so I'm glad you said that. That's a great way of articulating it, which is to be able to translate what I was feeling and like have that feeling come out in the music itself. Not to say that like that didn't necessarily happen in stuff I've written in the past, but I don't know, there was something about that song where it just felt more fully formed and maybe like more raw, and I was like able to bring out those raw emotions more than I had before.
Well, there was a lot on the line for you.
Yeah.
You had your own deal with yourself.
Well, I mean,
correct.
It was this song. Once that happens, that I was like, okay, now I truly believe in this project. It just wasn't enough having those two songs, Control and Shifting Sands, wasn't enough, I don't think, for me to like believe fully that like it could be a reality.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more pressure on you because you're the one coming up with the beats before the lyrics come on. So for me, it's like nice and easy, cheesy peasy, because I'm like, whenever he sends it, I'll be ready. Great. So yeah, that's really lovely. So then, the song came about, the lyrics were written. I got a very similar feeling from the song. This is one of those songs that Mickey sent over with a title. And again, these titles weren't necessarily what the songs were supposed to be about, but it just was relevant, and it's a great like inspiration, honestly. Like
I like to name songs in a very literal sense. So,
how
am I feeling right now? Very twitchy.
And what a great word. And the word itself gives you it's like, it's a very, what do you call that? When you can feel it, it's,
I mean, the best example I can give of someone who like that was their whole act was David Byrne. Like I think exactly. Like his whole persona.
He is a twitchy man. Yes, because and everything he's saying about had this angst of what it meant to be alive and what it meant to live amongst society and people, and who are people and who am I. And so bringing us to today, I mean, even yesterday I reposted the song, and that's a feeling that I think a lot of us are feeling right now. I think a lot of the songs are relevant to our time, but people are tired, man. People are really tired and unable to figure out how to live amongst other people and in the society as it continues to transition into this new reality that's very uncertain.
We can't agree as a society what the rules of society should be.
Yeah.
And so that makes it really hard.
It makes it hard. And like, I think for, I'm in my 40s, I'm 42, as is Mickey. And it's, this is an interesting time in our lives. We're kind of in the middle, and this big thing is shifting. And like, what does it mean? I think we're all in this, what does it mean phase. And I guess,
when you're just in the midst of it, it's hard to have perspective on what it means, right? I mean,
and maybe that's the hard part, is like we're not in the hindsight moment yet, so we're just tired. Tired of feeling twitchy, man. Very, very twitchy. So then here we go into the studio. I do my thing with Rick. We record the vocals, all the harmonies. Again, I think this was one of the songs where we're like, oh wow, we can elevate what's possible. And then just when we thought we were done with the song, Mickey's like,
I don't totally remember how this happened, how I got the idea that I was like, wait a second.
It's not done yet.
It's not done. I think it was just like in the studio one night and just messing around.
Yeah.
And like came up with that, just that simple bass part. I mean, it's obviously like a lot of our stuff is just 4 on the floor. So it's not like it's any kind of complicated drum beat or anything like that. But the nice thing about having a 4 on the floor part with a really like sparse, sustained bass part like that, is then you can like, there's a lot of room for other parts. And so like then we were able to kind of layer both synthesizer parts, vocal,
guitar,
well, and then obviously like Justin, and I mean, he just like he did on the other 3 songs that he recorded on.
Oh, he killed it.
He just killed it. And, it was such a. I haven't spent a ton of time in the studio, in a professional studio, so I haven't like been there for like that kind of recording session before, and it was it's truly amazing. He didn't. I mean, he obviously listened to the songs ahead of time, but he was figuring out what he was going to play like on the fly, and we were like, it was Rick, and you were there, and Rick and Justin and I
and Kai,
but like we were kind of like bouncing ideas, and he was like trying something, and I'd be like, no, how about this? And
it's very natural.
It was.
Yeah, I feel like when you came up with that part, I think, and I could be remembering wrong, but I feel like you were talking to me about really starting to think about developing the live set and understanding that the songs, I mean, with Future Rock, you guys did these long, elongated songs, and our songs are very concise, even though they're long for me, like 4 or 5 minute songs are long for my format that I'm used to playing. But to be able to play them in a live show, and I think that was your vision.
That was definitely the inspiration behind that part, was thinking about how might this song translate into the live show, and then I just got that idea. It's like, oh well, this could kind of fit as a second half of the song, which is more of like a looser jam section. Although I mean, it still ended up being a composed jam section, to a certain extent, right? And
because now we're layering it. I mean, even when I first got that part, I was so excited about it. I mean, the idea of just not necessarily having to write very intricate things, but just playing with like harmonies and just playing with sound, like some of them are just words or whatever. Like using my voice like an instrument versus just to sing and tell stories was really cool. And we actually ended up using the tracks that I recorded at my house on that part, because it was like impossible to recreate them. It was just so inspired in the moment.
Absolutely. But that was, I mean, when we were thinking about what we might want to have Justin do, I think that was one of the first 2 songs that were like, definitely want him.
Hands down. Yeah. This is it's going to be so fun to see how this comes together live, man. Justin,
if you're listening, Justin.
If you're listening, you're going to be getting a call at some point here. Man. I hope that you'll be able to join us.
Hopefully you remember who we are.
Yeah. If you guys don't know who Justin Canavan is, you must check him out. He's such a badass, and he's just all over the place.
Well, we were talking in the last interview we did with Rick. We were talking about his band Judo, which they recorded at Rax Tracks with Rick. Incredible album.
There's a lot of really good stuff coming out of Rax Tracks right now. Let me just be honest. And that's not to like toot our own horn, but just one of the reasons that I wanted to go there originally is because of the level of talent inside of this place is out of control. And yeah, it's just a very inspiring facility. So yeah, it's really, we're lucky. We're lucky to live in a city where, or I guess I live in a city where we have things like that
Yeah.
at our fingertips.
I guess I'm lucky I live close to a city, sort
Well,
of.
and you lived here a long time. Like
Yeah.
you're just a car ride away. You're still a Chicagoan. So yeah, so this week we're going to be releasing Shifting Sands, and this is kind of exciting because it is a song that Mickey and I wrote kind of at the end of our time, or
Yeah, it was the last song we wrote for Future Rock.
for Future Rock, and it just was never released. So we decided to bring it onto this album.
It was, yeah, we played it live for a few years, and it oftentimes was kind of the cornerstone of the set, or a Future Rock set. I mean, it really went over very well with the audience. It was, so like by the time we decided to take it to the studio for Syzygal, it had already been it
was a fully realized song. Yeah. But it,
so,
you know, it all kind of grew from there. So again, the evolution, you know, a lot of what we're doing here is just kind of trying to, even for ourselves, just to try to capture the fact that we are in this evolutionary process right now, and we have no idea where this is going to go or what it's going to be or when we're going to get to play in front of live people. But for the time being, we want to somehow celebrate that we are doing this, and it is exciting for us and hopefully for you. And we're just so thrilled to be able to share it in any way that we can, which for now is online.
On YouTube,
so,
at our website, streaming.
At our website, yeah. Yeah, all the videos, yeah, for those of you interested in checking out all the videos, if you haven't yet, they are on our website, which is www.syzygalmusic.com. We have a YouTube channel. We're getting some merch together. I mean, we're just, you know, we're slowly growing, and we're really thankful that you're on the ride with us, and can't wait to see you in person. And until next time, have a safe and wonderful week.